Hi everyone, it's Shar and welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you are new here. We are back with another speed build for the Sharsavefile. I feel like I'd hop all over the world whenever I build, because I just build what I feel in the mood to do. But I was watching Little Simsy renovate this exact same house, and when she was doing the walkthrough of it, I was like, this house is horrible. Not her renovation, the actual original house that comes with the game. But I didn't realize that when I played, just because I don't play with townies, right? Like if my sim marries a townie, I give them a makeover and add them to my sim's household. They don't move in to the house that is originally here. So this is Kornberg Cottage in the world that came with Get Together, which is Windenburg. So this is in Windenburg. This is where the Munch family lives. So I decided I wanted to try my own hand at renovating this entire lot. Now, Windenburg is a fun save file for me because I made everyone in Windenburg related. They have a really long history, really big, complicated family trees, just for my own amusement. So while it's still the Munch family that lives here, it's actually a new generation of the Munch family. Still a single mom, Mila, and her 3 kids, who she named after her ancestors. Now, you will notice that Mila is related in the same ways to the other members. Like Lucas is still her son, right? Who's the other one? I would say Gunther. I don't know. They're still her kids, so there's something a little bit odd going on there, but you can make of that what you will with the storylines. Ultimately, I decided that I'm really happy with how this house turns out. I wanted it to have the feel of like an old family estate. So I didn't want it to be renovated or super modern. Like the kitchen was definitely updated with the appliances because Mila is a chef, but everything else I try to keep like it was essentially all the furniture that originally comes with the house. It has the same kind of old feel, perhaps just like renovated within the past 20 or 30 years. So that's the vibe that we go for. And I want the house to still be big. So thankfully it is. And there's still 3 bedrooms. So while you watch me decorate this little house here, let me tell you about the family that lives here. You already know about Mila and her new 3 sons, who she named after her original kids. So in this save file, we have, I want to say his name is Gunther, Wolfgang, and Lucas, right? I think so. So Gunther is, in the original version of the save file, kind of like a lazy sim. He's a writer, he's creative, but he refuses to move out of his house and his parents' house and really doesn't do anything with his life. In this save file, that is not the case at all. Gunther is actually still a writer, still really creative, still lives at home, but he lives at home in an effort to help his mom raise his little brothers and to add additional income to the household, because obviously running the family estate requires more than one income. As much money as Mila makes, she would definitely be struggling to pay the bills here by herself. So the reason that Gunther still lives with his family is to provide support to his mom. Then we have Wolfgang. Wolfgang is still a really rebellious sim because I really like that storyline with him. I completely changed his appearance because the problem that I have when I play, and obviously this save file I'm making for my own selfish reasons, because when I play future legacy challenges, I want the world to already be set up to my taste and to my preferences. So the problem is I naturally find myself gravitating towards Gunther because I love his storyline. Not Gunther, Wolfgang, because I love his storyline. I love the clubs that he's part of. He always seems to be around. He's a really easy sim to run into, and I tend to play my sims in my own time as being a little bit rebellious. So I do tend to gravitate towards him, but I do not like his original design. He is very much a EA townie, so I completely gave Wolfgang a makeover so that when I see him walking around my town, he is someone that I would want to have my sim romance. Now, originally, Wolfgang and Lucas shared a room. I split that down the middle so they could have their own space. And Wolfgang and Gunther actually shared this little bathroom in the hallway, Jack and Jill style. So with Gunther, I gave him more of a kind of like cozy cottage library feel, very much like just a space he can go to retreat and read his books. So that's ultimately what I ended up going with for this room. I really love how it turns out. Please do not worry. Yes, I changed the wallpaper. I know that it does not go with the vibes in this area, so I do go back and fix it. And I also make sure that the flooring lines up as well. And this is still like a really decent sized room. He was able to fit a lot in here, but the rugs were still way too big for it. So I did struggle to find something that I thought fit the space. But ultimately, I'm really happy with how this room turns out. I said that I matched the wood. I don't. I put carpet in the bedrooms because this is supposed to be like a cold world. So I thought that made sense, right? Like you would want carpet on your feet. It's also in Europe. So I was like, that makes sense to me. So that's what I ended up going with. You can see it definitely has this like old estate vibe with the wallpaper that I was going for. Maybe the original like handcrafted furniture. And really Gunther just rearranged this to suit more of his needs and taste, just like a very peaceful retreat. Like I would very happily stay in this room, and I feel like I've stayed in a room like this. I was interviewing for a job once, and they housed me in a kind of bed and breakfast, and I felt this is what the room looked like. So that perhaps was the inspiration. It is a very cozy space, and I think it fits the overall vibe of the room. That said, y'all, you know I don't like talking to you about the build necessarily. I love making speed builds, and I definitely have been in a building mood, which is a great thing because that means I'm making progress towards my save file, so that's fantastic. But ultimately, I don't have a lot to say, right? Like I was just letting the flow go wherever it went. Now, why do I keep wanting to call him Gunther? Wolfgang. For Wolfgang's room, I ended up going with like a black and white, somewhat maximalist aesthetic. Just somewhere that I felt like had the energy of being cool. Not cool like cool, like literally a cold room is what I ended up going with little touches of Wolfgang as he exists in this save file. So I love this wallpaper from Decor to the max. I put this little flooring as a kind of faux rug to break up the space. He has these dressers beside his bed, and then he has his desk where he can do his homework. I go for like the old school of all the rooms in the house. I think that Wolfgang's is the most updated, but the desk itself I want to say is like one of the original pieces of furniture, and I swap it out for this red one just because I feel like it adds the room together and suits his personality and aesthetic as I envision him. I put a bunch of movie posters on the wall. I tend to like my Sims to have a really strong interest in movies and music. He's a teen, so that made sense to me. But anyway, let me talk to you about life. So y'all, I have a vacation coming up. I'm super excited. I have 2 weeks off of work. For the first part of my vacation, I am going to go to Santorini, which I'm so excited about. That has been on my bucket list for so long. I have been to Greece before, but I've been to Athens. This time I'm doing like a little resort style vacation in Santorini, which I got a really good deal for. By the way, the only CC in this room is the little skull you saw me put down. It just suited him, and I'm going to keep my CC folder. I still haven't figured out how I'm going to get this save file out to you all, especially because I'm using custom content on my Sims. Not all of them, but a lot of them, because again, I want the save to feel like my save. But anyway, I digress. So I'm taking that vacation to Santorini. I don't know how long I'm going to be gone. Initially, I know that my first part of vacation in Greece is only going to be a few days. After that, I don't know what I'm doing because I'm contemplating so many things. I could go to Orlando, to go to Disney World. Give me a second here because I want to talk to you about Lucas's room. You can see that I gave Lucas a double bed, and how I split this was like one area of this room is his play area. He still has a bunch of toys everywhere, but the other area, he has like a TV where he lounges. I personally always really wanted a double bed, and I think I got one as soon as I turned like 11. In my mind, that's around the age that Lucas is. He isn't a super young kid. but he's young enough to still want to play with his toys, and still be really into like his arts and crafts and hobbies and things like that. But he's old enough to want a bigger bed and to have slightly older interests, so more of like tween cartoons and TV shows. So that's what I ended up going with. I know it's a little strange because I'm so used to seeing single beds in kids' rooms, but I wanted to portray that Lucas was a little bit older in this version of the save file. So anyway, so my vacation is going to be about 4 days or so, 4 or 5 days while I'm in Greece. Now the question is, while I'm already in Europe, do I just stay in Europe and hop to the next place that I want to go to until I'm ready to come back home? The beauty of work from home, especially with my job, I'm not bound by location in any way. I'm not even restricted to work in the US specifically. I just have to work in Eastern Standard Time. So wherever I am in the world, I'm allowed to be there so long as I'm logging in for my work hours at the appropriate Eastern Standard Time hours. So I was like, do I just stay there? Because we know, well, I know that one of the most expensive parts of getting to Europe is your flight, right? The flight from the US to Europe. I'm like, well, if I'm already going to be in Greece, do I just hop upwards? Do I go to Ibiza? Do I go up to Scotland? Do I go to Berlin or to Amsterdam? Do I go back to Madrid? I don't know. So that's what I haven't figured out. Y'all, I'm a spontaneous traveler, so that is definitely something that I have been thinking about. Alternatively, I could come back to the US and I can go to Orlando. I can go to Disney World. Maybe I do a resort style vacation in Mexico instead. Maybe I go to Miami and hang out at South Beach. I just don't know. But because I'm a spontaneous traveler, I think I'm just going to go on vacation. And if at the end of my vacation, I feel like I'm not done being on vacation, then I'll pick the next location that I want to go to. So the living room, I do split up a little bit because I didn't want it to be like just this big empty space. And I wanted to break up the space a little bit. But where I struggle and what I always forget here is like if you play with seasons and you have holiday stuff, where do you place the Christmas tree? That's not something that I ever think about. Maybe you don't celebrate Winterfest in your Sims game, and that's totally fine. For me, I'm thinking about if I was actually playing this game, I was playing this family, and I wanted to play in this household, where would I put up the Winterfest decorations? I don't know. I also just realized, why is that curtain, the third one, a different color? I don't know. Of all the rooms in this house, the one that got the least update is Mila's room. I really just changed some of the general color scheme, hopefully had it match a little bit more, shifted the space a bit, actually gave her a dresser, added some more lights into the room because my gosh, it was dark. I gave her a TV because it's kind of like a suite, like a parental suite for her. She could just get away, come into her room, read her books, watch TV, chill in bed, and honestly just relax. I also have a lot of the paintings around the house that come with Get Together. My idea is like the Munch family is actually related to these people, the ones at the Von Haunt estate. So they have like their family portraits in the home. This house also had like a separate house on the lot, like a little guest area, play area. I don't know. I didn't like it. So I got rid of it and I gave them a pool instead. And you can see the pool in the background as well. The very last thing that I do in this household is the bathrooms. This is the main bathroom that Mila would use, but of course it's also going to be the guest bathroom. So if anyone came over, this is the bathroom they would be using. And then the second bathroom in the house is the Jack and Jill style one for Gunther and for Wolfgang. So that's the renovated version of this little cottage in Windenburg. It definitely fits my game style a little bit more, and I hope it's a little bit more playable than what it was originally. Like there was literally a room in the middle of the house, like when you walked in. Yeah, it just felt very oddly laid out and like the designs clashed. I didn't limit myself to any packs, which I rarely do. Sometimes I do if I want to be like mindful of that. But because this is my selfish save file where I'm really rebuilding it with myself in mind and with my play style in mind, I didn't limit myself to the packs. And I thought about this and I was like, well, listen, if you're a builder and you have a ton of Sims 4 packs, you don't typically build by limiting yourself to packs. You build because you want all of the pieces to come together from all of your packs. You wouldn't say, well, I'm not going to use this pack, I'm not going to use this pack. So that's how I do it. Although you will see a video coming up on my channel that is going to be like base game and maybe seasons. I feel like typically if you buy an expansion pack, you typically buy seasons if you want weather. Maybe you buy cats and dogs, but I'm going to do seasons. By the way, because I'm going to be on vacation for an undetermined amount of time, I also have to pre-record videos to go up on my channel while I'm gone. Ask me how many videos I pre-recorded. That's right. The answer is none. I'm typically always 1 week ahead on my recordings for my channel. So the week before I record, the week that they're actually going to go up, I edit, and that's my flow. So while I have the videos that are going to go up this week, pre-recorded, this being one of them, I'm doing the voiceover now before it goes up. I don't have any pre-recorded videos for my vacation, and that means I'm going to have to record like 6 videos. So I'm also limited by space on my laptop. My computer, because videos obviously take up a ton of space. So I'm going to have to be mindful of that, of how I pre-record, edit, and schedule. So good luck to me. We're coming to the end of the build where I actually run out of space. So the recording cuts off abruptly. You don't miss anything. I literally just add little loungers by the pool, and that is literally about it. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for being here and for watching as always. If you aren't already, please do make sure to subscribe. I do tons of speed builds and a lot of fun Sims 4 challenges, like a bunch of legacy challenges. Currently I'm playing the Sims 4 experiences, Whimsy Stories, and Not So Berry. This is the part where the recording cuts off. Really, I'm just adding some fun decorative bits so the family can lounge in the backyard and a diving board. But thank you so much for watching this video. I'm going to see you next time. Bye!